Federation University acknowledges the traditional custodians of the lands and waters where our campuses, centres and field stations are located, and we pay our respects to elders past and present and extend our respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander and First Nations peoples. So, as Ginny had mentioned, my name is Zeb Leonard and I'm based at the Berwick campus and teach on occasion in Gippsland in Churchill. Also in the program at Berwick, we have Doctors Rachel Hale and Cassie Peterson, and based at Ballarat, we have Dr. Mark Camilleri. And throughout the program, throughout the degree, you'll deal with all of us, and we're really easy to contact and attentive towards any issues you might be facing. I might just go back a moment in case you need to jot down some contact details there. So if you have any questions at any stage, please get in touch either via email or on phone, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And I suppose the big question you might be wondering at this stage is, why study criminology and criminal justice at Federation University? Well, frankly, we frequently hear this area of study, this discipline, as fascinating. So be ready to talk when people ask what you're doing, as they will usually have a lot of questions. The study can be challenging, as complex and worthwhile things usually are. So there are complexities and controversies associated with this area of study to unpack. So with that in mind, be ready for some spirited discussions in tutorials for on-campus students or in online forums and other online media for those studying online. There are very strong vocational aspects to this degree, and by that I mean viable job opportunities. So there are real-world applications to your study. It's not just academic. Of course, we respect and understand the motivation to study as a lifelong learner for the love of knowledge and such, but it is all strongly tied to workforce-facing aspects. So with that in mind, the assessment tasks go beyond just writing essays, and they aim to build real-world skills, so authentic assessment. So the degree is a valuable experience to undergo and a valuable qualification to possess for those who seek to contribute to society in a meaningful and practical way, to understand why crime occurs, to work, pardon me, that seems to have advanced on its own accord, to understand why crime occurs, to work with people caught up in the criminal justice system, either as persons accused of crime, offenders or victims, and to influence the way communities view crime. Also to help shape legislation and policies. We speak a lot in the degree around opportunities for reform. And also to form a better understanding through research to the contributing factors to offending, also to understand desistance, why some people stop offending, and also to understand the impact of crime and methodologies for crime prevention, all this and much, much more. In just a moment, we'll have a quick look at our delivery locations, but within the degree, there are options to study on campus, wholly online via the internet, which is an ideal option for those who have varied work schedules, shift workers and such, or other caring commitments and such, or varied levels of accessibility to a campus location. You can study anywhere. And in addition to that, we have blended options. So let's have a look at that in more detail. So we refer to the overall degree itself as the program, and within that there are a number of courses to complete, which some might speak of as units or subjects, but we tend to say course in the degree. So some students take some of their courses on campus and others online, hence blended. So again, you have options to study everything on campus. Of course, that depends on the situation in line with state government regulations and such. Typically speaking, there are opportunities to study on campus. You can study everything online or a blend of those. Take some courses on campus and some online. Now, in the program, there are core courses which all students complete. And these include a range of criminology and criminal justice courses. And I'll just talk about an example of one of those in particular, and that is explanations of crime. Just to give you an idea of some of the specific aspects you'll be studying in the degree. This looks at various theories explaining why people commit crime. In studies of human behaviour, theory is a proposed explanation as based on a body of research. So that's a little bit of a different definition than it is in the sciences, where in the sciences, theory is the body of knowledge around an observable phenomena. In the humanities, it can be a research-based explanation for behaviour. But what it is not is just a hunch or a guess. It's not like, oh, I have a pet theory that Spotify puts ads in the most annoying places, so I go buy the premium version or whatever it might be. It's research-based. Throughout the years, there have been many explanations as to why crime might occur. Earlier explanations centred on things such as the influence of evil spirits, but thought has progressed since to quite sophisticated analysis around the structure and function of human society. Now, thought might have advanced in this area, but debate still goes on. There are still many proposed explanations for crime and no single unified or key idea. So this course will show differing explanations both throughout history and where the debate continues to this day. So that's just an example of the focus of one of the core criminology and criminal justice courses in the degree. Others include crime prevention, reduction and control, which considers aspects of both the physical landscape around you, the environment, as well as the social landscape, which can be altered or modified to lessen the frequency and severity of crime. Now, of course, there are many others, and we don't have scope to go into those here just now, so I would refer you to the enrolment pages. In the first year, there is an academic transition course, which is geared towards maximising your learning experience across your degree, essentially setting you up for maximum success. And returning more specifically to the content on the slide here, you have the option to pick up differing areas of specialisation, either one major or two minors. So you can complete a major, which is 8 courses in behavioural studies, community and human services, or information technology security. But if you do not wish to pick up an 8-course major, the other option is 2 4-course minors. And there you can select all of the aforementioned, plus also Indigenous studies or writing. In the final year, there is also a course dedicated to gaining high-level research skills in the social sciences. But that's in third year, and by that stage, you'll have a strong foundation. You'll have an established knowledge base. Just take note that every stage in the degree is scaffolded. There is support and guidance in place throughout to maximise your success. In the final year, students undertake the work integrated learning component, and this involves a professional knowledge component, which is preparing you for professional settings, as well as a placement component. So in just a little bit more detail, the professional knowledge aspect covers understanding professional work environments and an overview of the criminology and criminal justice sector, and skills for working in professional settings, such as administration and report writing and such, and working in client-facing roles and undertaking case management. There is a component on entering the workforce, including developing a career plan, identifying job opportunities, writing job applications, and learning how to respond to key selection criteria and how to maximise your chances of success in an interview setting. And then there's the placement component, and the 150 to 200 hour placement can include project work in conjunctions with agencies or academic staff, placements directly with agencies in justice-type programs, and volunteering. I'm mindful that not everyone's motivation for study is vocational or job-focused, and indeed, some students may have significant professional experience already, so students may be eligible for an alternative assessment in regard to the work integrated learning component if they've completed relevant work experience of going over 2 years or so in the last 5 years. And of course, reasonable adjustments can be made to suit diverse student requirements. Our physical campus locations are in Mount Helen, which is close to Ballarat. There is a campus where I am based in the southeastern Melbourne suburb of Berwick, And there's also a campus in Churchill in Gippsland, and of course, online delivery, where the location is a virtual space. If you haven't done so already, I would advise you to do a web search on Federation University Virtual Tour and have a better look at the campus locations. Now, our degree ensures that graduates are competitive across a wide range of career path settings. So to put it another way, there are strong vocational aspects to this degree, so viable job opportunities. Law enforcement, state and federal, is a logical line of employment for those in this degree, and that might include unsworn police roles in the public service or completing the training required to join the police force as a sworn officer. So this qualification would be highly regarded in that setting. Related there would also be protective services, some private security, and related public service agencies and such. In terms of public service roles related to the police, that might include the Australian and New Zealand Policing Advisory Agency, Border Force, and so on and such. Other employment opportunities may include corrections officers working in prisons or working in community corrections for persons serving community orders as alternatives to prison or persons on parole. There are also roles oriented around managing offenders after their release. There's a range of roles available through the courts. All of the criminal justice agencies require oversight and regulation, so there are opportunities there. There are many opportunities to work with the youth in youth justice, as well as developmental and social crime prevention, and so on. Policy and research is a really logical line of consideration there, and we speak a lot of identifying areas for reform, like greater access to justice for disadvantaged groups. These plus many, many other avenues, various non-government organisations, working as grant officers and so on. But when you finish your degree, you might face one of life's little intersections, perhaps a choice of heading right out into the workforce or getting even more skilled up with study options like an honours degree leading into a possible PhD, a doctorate. And that might seem like a little bit of a threatening thought at the moment, but we can take things one step at a time. And the bachelor's degree is, of course, a standalone qualification in of itself. It's highly regarded. But the degree can also be a stepping stone into advanced research. Just something to bear in mind at this stage. On the Open Day page, you can see a link to a video about the honours year presented by the honours program coordinator, Dr. Leslie Speed. Now, in terms of admission into the degree, for some students, entry into a higher education program is more straightforward than for others, but there are varied pathways in place. There are many reasons why you might need to consider an admissions pathway, but most commonly it might apply if you're a current Year 12 or recent VCE graduate, but you have not as yet met the entry requirements as such as yet. It might apply to those returning to study or have not participated in significant study for more than 2 years. And it might also apply if you have not completed secondary school education. And it might also apply if you have not as yet met the English or academic entry requirements, but there are options to consider there moving forward also. Looking specifically at some of those options, there is FAST, or the Foundation Access Study program. This 6-month program prepares students for a place in the degree program at Federation University, and successful completion of FAST guarantees you an offer of a place in a Fed Uni degree. You may also look at completing Certificate 3 or higher in a relevant study area, so something related to criminology and criminal justice in this case, at Fed Uni TAFE or another Victorian TAFE or registered training organisation. I should stress here for this degree that needs to be a relevant qualification, so a related study area. And regardless, TAFE is a great way to get some real hands-on experience. If you haven't completed secondary education, Federation College offers a range of programs including VCAL, Pathways to Study and Pathways to Employment. Also consider EAP, which is English for Academic Purposes. So say you're an international student and don't meet as yet the English language requirements. This pathway will assist you to gain entry into a higher degree program which requires IELTS or 6, 6.5 or 7. And as related to this particular degree, the score needed is 6. And also, if you have completed university study with another institution recently, you may receive some credits for some courses. So why Federation University specifically? Once we've talked about how it's a viable area in terms of job opportunities, why this particular uni? Well, the 2021 edition of the Good Universities Guide shows we have achieved the highest 5-star rating in 14 out of 21 relevant undergraduate and postgraduate areas. Number 1 in Australia for first-generation student enrolments. In Australia for teaching quality at the postgraduate level. And in Victoria, number 1 in starting salary for graduates. Number 1 for full-time graduate employment. Number 1 for social equity. 1 also for student-teacher ratio. For skills development, both undergraduate and postgraduate. Number 1 in Victoria for student support. Number 1 for teaching quality. Number 1 in Victoria for learner engagement at the postgraduate level. Number 1 for overall experience. And number 1 in Victoria for teaching quality at the undergraduate level. Federation University offers a vast range of support services and social groups, including but not limited to chaplaincy, counselling, health services, childcare, disability support, a range of clubs and societies, sport and recreation. We offer an elite athlete program and also search uni sports in connection with health and fitness. There is financial information and support, international student support, a student advisory service, student careers and employment services, and the Aboriginal Education Centre. Now, like most universities, we recognise academic excellence when we see it. But here, support isn't limited to the chosen few. Your goals carry just as much weight as your grades. But no matter what you wish to study, where you're coming from, or what you're up against, our scholarships, bursaries and grants support people from all walks of life, helping build the communities we're proud to be part of. And thanks to generous government funding, coupled with our strong industry ties, chances are you'll find an opportunity that's right for you. So please visit federation.edu.au/scholarships in order to find out more. I shan't go into detail about this here, but any prospective Federation University student would be advised to research the university's industry placement program. This program, IPP, identifies placement opportunities in industry, and as indicated by the pie chart as shown, there is a very high rate of success in terms of students completing the IPP program and securing ongoing employment, either with the host organisation with that program or in a related area. Connected with the program is a scholarship up to 15,000 Australian dollars. There's an email contact there, ipp@federation.edu.au. And that's quite separate from our work integrated learning program and is general and university wide. Now, in terms of the nuts and bolts of the degree, it's full years 3-time study. 3 years full-time study or the equivalent part-time. Each year is 120 credit points, which is a full-time loading of 4 courses per semester, which gives you 60 credit points a semester, 2 semesters a year for 120 credit points a year. In terms of the entry requirements for Year 12, Units 3 and 4 and a study score of at least 20 in any English. So this degree uses ATAR as part of its selection considerations. For non-VCE enrolment, please see our entry page and admissions pathways pages. In the first year, there is a dedicated academic transition course, 4 criminology and criminal justice courses, an elective, which is basically a study area in an area of your choosing, and 4 major or minor options. So 8 major or minor courses across the year. For the second year, there are 4 criminology and criminal justice courses, plus major and minor options. For the third year, there are 3 criminology and criminal justice courses, which includes the work integrated learning component. And outside of criminology and criminal justice, there is a research methods course and, of course, major and minor options. So the work integrated component occurs in the final year. In terms of what to do next, head online and check the entry requirements, and one can apply through VTAC or via direct application. Also consider the early offer program. If you finish year 12 and meet the requirements, which is an ATAR of 50 units and units 3 and an ATAR of 50 and units 3 and 4 and a study score of 20 in English, a place is assured. So apply by the 3rd of December to receive a conditional offer for an offer to be confirmed via VTAC on the 20th of December. So please take note of our general web address, federation.edu.au, which is easily found by just a web search, searching Federation University. To get in touch by phone, it's 1-800-FED-UNI and follow the prompts. And we have a presence across a range of social media and other platforms. So please take note. We're present on Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram and such. Take note, and please, as always, get in touch with any questions at any time. And I suppose that concludes the formal presentation aspect, and we can return to any questions you might have.